Hello everyone, welcome to Spa Insider, where we share wisdom from some of the best spas in the world. I'm John Cowan, co-owner of Universal Companies, where we've been supplying top spas for over 40 years. And today on the podcast, we've got Tony Angel, spa director at the Ritz-Carlton Grande Lakes, which was voted USA Today's #1 spa in America last year. Let's dive in. Thank you so much for taking time to do this with us. I mean, first off, I'm just so impressed with the Ritz Spa. You guys have had such a fantastic year with USA Today, Condé Nast, your iSpa Award.
Yeah, thank you.
There's not a single one of our customers that won't appreciate the perspective that you have to bring.
Thank you. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for including me in this.
The first question I have, our whole focus is on guest experience. So what does that mean to you?
I mean, I would be cliche by saying it means everything, right? But it does mean everything. If we're trying to be the best of the best, we have to provide the best experience for our guests. So I guess walking in and wanting to have an experience of the Ritz-Carlton, and I want them to walk out feeling like something impacted their life. That's how meaningful I want the experience to be. So I want them to walk in one way, but when they leave, they feel like this was the best thing ever. This is what I need to be doing more often. Not just today. I shouldn't spoil myself just one time out of the year. Like, I should be doing this more often because this is the place to be. So really, it's just the overall experience for the guest for me is very, very important. And I don't want there to be a single doubt of this is a place where I belong.
I love that. So our audience kind of has a frame of reference. What does a facial cost at the Ritz?
So a facial will start anywhere from $225 and up, right? And we can get upwards of almost $1,000 for one facial.
Wow.
Right, so you're talking about 100 minutes of being on a table with one of our professional estheticians. Now, the thing about our facials, if we want to talk about that, is not just about the products that are being applied to the face, right? Really, the products themselves, you can do that at home. It's about the experience. So when you think about what the cost is, it's not so much about you're paying just for the benefits of the product, but you're paying for the experience that our professionals are providing, right? So if you look at the pricing, it may seem like, oh my gosh, it's a little bit too much, but there's more to it than just the facial.
So let's talk about the delivery. What does Ritz do that really sets the guest experience apart? Could you walk me through a person who's never been in the spa before, they book a service, what does that journey look like for them?
The number one thing that we do and we strive to do for every single guest is a personalized experience. So the moment you walk in, you're not treated like any other guest. You're not treating like just a number, right? We do our best to get to know you. What are your preferences? What are your needs? What are your likes? And we tailor your experience, right? It's not an easy thing to do because we see so many different guests throughout the year, 50,000+ services a year that we do. So imagine trying to tailor that to every single guest is not easy, right? But that is our mission. So from the moment you walk in, we want to make you feel welcome, especially if it's your first time. If it's your second or third, or you come here often, then we want to make sure that you feel like you're at home. Right? Welcome back to your home. This is where you've been coming. But as a first timer, we want to make sure that that first experience is everything for you, and we just blow your mind of what we have to offer. Right? We want you to stay the whole day. We want you to come in, and the moment you step in front of that front desk and check in, then you have the pool experience, you have the locker room experience with all the amenities, you have the restaurant experience with our great menu, right? We really want to make sure that we tailor everything to what the guest is looking for, especially if it's the first time.
So walk me through how that personalization gets infused into each touch point.
We ask a lot of questions. We try not to be intrusive, but we do ask a lot of questions. That's the only way that you're going to get to know your guest. So even prior to arrival, as a guest is booking their services, especially online, they're able to fill out a survey to let us know what it is that they're expecting. Do they have any necessary take care or recommendations for themselves because maybe they're recovering from X, Y, and Z. So we start with that. Then we have that information already where our therapist can pre-assess the guest before they even meet the guest. So they already have all the notes. And at that point, it's just a matter of confirming. So that's what helps us tailor the experience, right? So it's confirmed upon arrival at the front desk, whether it's a simple request of a male, female therapist, the type of pressure, so on, as this is your first time here. So again, we go into what can we do to create this real wow experience because it's the first time, and we want to not only gain that loyalty, but we want to make sure that they trust us, that they're in the right place. So again, then the therapists have that information at hand, and upon departure, we can follow up and close that loop. So once you come in, you go through the process of your services, then we're able to close that loop and check in and say, hey, how was your experience? And then follow up with that even more so. A lot of times we even can go as far as repeat the follow-up after the guest has departed. And we really just focus on creating that connection again. So we create a sense of belonging.
Love that. So that's a really interesting segue into the experience extending past just when the guest is on property. So how do you continue that post-service, like once they're out of the physical spa?
So we collect a lot of the data also, and then number one is as simple as asking for their contact information. Would they like to be part of our monthly, weekly newsletters that we sent out? That's an easy one to do, and obviously a lot of businesses do that. But our therapists really do focus on personalizing the experience when the guest is at their table. And if they really connect and they really have a sense of connection with the guest, they have the ability to say, here's my card, let's stay in touch, please come see me again, or allow me to check back with you if it's okay, right? Again, we don't want to be too intrusive, and we want to give our guests their time and privacy, but if there is that desire to stay in touch, to connect, we will do that. Especially when we know that the guest had a great experience, why not follow up with the guest? Why not say thank you for the feedback that you have provided, knowing that you had a great experience? And in some cases, there's constructive feedback as well. So then we make sure that we follow up on that. And if there's anything that we can do better and improve on, we for sure take that information and use that. I can tell you that every guest that I meet, they walk away with my business card, right? Because I hope that they do reach out, whether it's for good or constructive, as I say, but my business card is available at the front desk at all times, right? Because I personally care and I want to hear from our guests.
And I feel like that top-down example probably contributes to shaping the outlook of your team.
It helps, and I think it helps because our team sees the ownership that, yes, I may be the director of the spa and I may be the face of the spa in that sense, but so can you, right? You can also have that sense of ownership. You can have that sense of allow me to follow up. And actually our team is so great at that. A lot of times, by the time I get involved, my team has already taken care of everything. So for me, it's just as simple as crossing the T's, dotting the I's, or shaking the hands, whatever it may be, because the team has already done everything. So that sense of ownership is very important.
So hospitality to me seems like the hardest job in the world because every touch point with a frontline employee can destroy the guest perception of the brand.
Yes.
How do you keep that impeccable standard there all the time?
It starts with hiring the right people. I can tell you, we have a standard. We're trying to strive for a 5-star rating of Forbes Travel Guide. We have the Ritz-Carlton standard. That is a pretty high standard. So much that many other companies train with our training team from the Ritz-Carlton corporate team because they want to have that certain level of high customer service. So it starts with the hiring, and from the get-go saying, this is the expectation. Are you willing to commit yourself to what the standard is? Are you going to make us better? I literally ask those questions, and the answer, I would say 100% of the time is, yes, I will do that, right? So now, when you start, what do? We hold you accountable to that, right? And briefly, I'll tell you, as we go through our Forbes Travel Guide rating process, we are audited multiple times a year as what we would call maybe practice audits and then official audits as they come. And our front desk team is on, I want to say about 18 or 19 month streak of 100%.
No way.
Yeah. So when you look at all the ratings, as our front desk team, they evaluate locker room attendance, they do the massage therapists, and so on, right? But when it comes to our arrival and departure score, has been at 100% consistent. Now, the bar is set high, so much so that even the newcomers in the last year walk in knowing this team is performing. I don't want to be the one that brings us down to anything less than a 5-star rating, right? So the bar has already been set. We set it from the moment we hired the team members, and then the team continued to carry on. So that's our team. So they're really, really a phenomenal team, and I'm beyond proud to work with them. And I learn from them too.
So when hiring that team, with given your focus on guest experience, what characteristics do you look for?
First of all, you have to have the want to serve. You said hospitality is not an easy job. I have conversations even in my personal life with friends and family members who are like, I could not do your job. Not because of what I do physically sitting at my desk managing a business, but it's more of dealing with customer service. It's not an easy one. So you have to have that. You have to genuinely have the need and the want to serve somebody else. right? No matter who you are, whether you're the GM of this place, doing the same things that anybody else would do, whether it's picking up trash, which is part of the customer service, and making sure that we have a clean environment, and providing the service in person to the guests. So having someone that is genuinely passionate about it is important. Now, how do you know that during an interview? Because during an interview is tough. You a lot of times hear what you want to hear, but I want to say I've been doing this long enough where I feel when someone is being genuine versus when somebody might be putting up an act. And at the same time, we do hire some of those team members, and sometimes they'll just see themselves maybe making a change in their own career because this is not what they thought it was going to be. Because again, we hold them to such a high standard. And that's okay, it's not for everyone. But being genuine, being natural, it's definitely key to doing this. Otherwise, I mean, I wouldn't have been doing it for 15 years already, or actually almost 20 years in hospitality. Yeah.
That's amazing. So are there any tells you've kind of honed that cue you in when somebody isn't being genuine or when they don't really have the authentic mission to serve?
Yeah, I would say it's as simple as, are you listening to me, right? You know, listening to a guest need is very important. We can hear what they say, but are we really listening? And how does a guest know that we're listening, right? Eye contact. Are we repeating what the guest told us to do? Are we actually taking action into those things? But it's those few seconds and moments during an interview that you can see if someone is genuinely invested in what you're talking about. Even their body language. Are they excited to be sitting in that chair, or are they just here because, again, this could potentially be a paycheck or a job, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You can genuinely sense the excitement behind it. Some of them even do their homework before, and they come and tell me all about the credo and our service values and the history of the company. Again, could someone just be doing their homework to wow me? But even as they're indulging me in that information, is the excitement that comes behind those words. It's what kind of gives you the indication that they're in it for the long run. And also their previous experience, you know, has it been customer service and they have wonderful stories to tell about their other job, or is it something that's completely unrelated, right? So there's a couple of things. Now, I can't say that every hire has been perfect or exactly what we need, but we all come from different backgrounds, and sometimes someone that doesn't come from a luxury customer service could be your diamond in the rough in a way, right? So
They just authentically care, and that's just in their soul.
you just see it. And listen, we can teach you the dynamics of the business. You can learn spa. I didn't come from a spa, and trust me, I was just plugged into it and I fell in love with it. But my background is rooms, right?
Really?
But I remember my hotel manager, out of a need, they just plugged me in. They said, "You need help, do this for 3 months." I'm like, I guess I'll do it. And she said, "You got the customer service piece. You know how to take care of the operation. Just support the team. That's all you have to do." Long story short, here I am, 14 years later, still working in the spas. But there's things that we can teach you. But there's things that you got to have.
And 14 years ago, was that at Ritz, or was that
That
at
was
a-
JW Marriott in Arizona. So I'm originally from the West.
So when did you segue into Ritz?
When I came here, actually, in 2014, I used to say I would never move to Florida, but never say never. Here I am. There was a job opportunity, and I took it, and I think it's paid off so far.
Awesome. So one of the things that I've heard, and I don't know how correct this is, but I've heard that every Ritz employee has permission to spend $2,000 to rectify an issue or delight the guest. Is that true?
That is 100% true. And I would even say it could be even more than that, but it could be whatever you need. When it comes to taking care of our guests, it's not always just to rectify it. Sometimes it's just to delight. Right? We're talking about creating connections and having genuine care for our guests. If we know someone's here for an anniversary, and you know they've been coming here year after year, and we want to do something nice for them, maybe we'll put them out in the gazebo by the lakeside and rent a quartet to play music for them. So we use it as a guideline, but there is really no set number, because overall, when it comes to taking care of the guests, there is no number. But also, I'm fortunate enough to talk in orientation about this, and I tell all the new hires, it's not about the money either. Some of the most meaningful guest experience come from maybe not spending any money. It comes from a simple gesture of a note card saying, "I appreciate getting to know you over the weekend. It was great to serve you." Those little touches are sometimes more valuable than the $2,000 that you can give a guest. Remember, it's not all about the money, right? It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. So, but yes, it is true.
So do you have any stories within the spa team of moments that have happened?
Yeah, you know, because we are the spa, we get to be involved in a lot of what we call wow moments in the Ritz-Carlton brand. And recently we had a proposal where the gentleman was supposed to fly out to St. Thomas for the weekend, and he was going to do the proposal on a yacht. Long story short, something happened to their pet and they couldn't leave. So he's like, I don't know what to do. And so I guess talking to a friend said, you need to reach out to the Ritz-Carlton, in particular the spot. They'll help you. So he did call us and he said, hey, I want to propose to my girlfriend. We were supposed to do this wonderful yacht experience in St. Thomas, and now it's not happening. So I'm like, how do you top that, right? We're in the middle of Central Florida. We don't have the waters of St. Thomas. So we did, and he basically said money's not an option. So we just went all out. And honestly, I'll tell you this, we didn't charge him anything. We wanted to do this just for him. We had 2 drums. We had our patio deck in one of the treatment rooms. So we set it up with flowers, charcuterie board, champagne, their favorite wine. We had pictures that he had sent to us. We had a cabana set up for them. Obviously, they had services. We could have just said, here's the bill for all this, and it would have cost you X amount. But he said, we want to take care of it. You chose to come to us, but you were supposed to be in St. Thomas on a yacht. You chose us, right? Due to circumstances, but we took that as a big moment of appreciation. So we wanted to give back and give them the memories, and I'm pretty sure they'll be back.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would ever go anywhere else.
Yeah, that was one of many. One of many.
So do you see that policy creates a feeling of ownership within members of your team that might otherwise feel junior? I know on our customer service team, it's easy for people to feel like they're just cleaning up frustrations, or when they come in, especially from other customer service jobs, like they've been treated as automatons elsewhere.
100%.
And so how have you seen the ownership that you're giving them and the authority, how has that shaped the way that they show up to those roles?
One mission statement that I've always used is, you and I both have the same job when it comes to our customer service. Difference is I may have a different title just because I do different things behind the scenes, but the end goal is to take care of a guest. So you and I are no different. So whatever I can do, you can do. We both are on the same playing page, and this is something that became even more evident during COVID, when our staffing was much smaller. And I can tell you, I was the only leader on property for the spa. Coming from a team of 10 at the time, we kind of had to reset, obviously, due to everything that happened. And so I myself was stretched thin because of that. And I remember one of my team members coming to me and said, Tony, can you help me take care of this guest for this X, Y, and Z? And I said, you can do this too. And I said, you don't have to be asking me for approvals. You're more than empowered to do this. She looked at me like, what are you talking about? And it's not because I didn't want to help. It's just more like, let's all help each other and let's take care of the guests and not have to wait for Tony to be back. You have full permission to do whatever you feel you need to do to take care of the guests. And that was a game changer for that person. One of our service values is being involved in the planning of the work that affects you. As an employee, as a lady and gentleman of the Ritz-Carlton, we believe that you have a say, you have stakes in what happens every single day. It's not just what Tony says. It's what you have and you want to bring to the table as well that matters. And if we're going to change something or if we're going to do something, you have input. So I think that takes away that feeling of like, this is just a job and I'm just another number. No, you're not just another number. You're part of this team that together takes care of the guests.
I love that. So how do the wow moments get diffused into the way that you design services?
It's all about the overall experience. There's a lot of times that we'll have meetings as we're trying to create a new service or a new event, and we think about us like, well, I don't know if I like that very much. And that conversation happens often. Well, I don't know how I feel about it. Well, let's step away and remember, it's not necessarily about us. It's about the guest, right? Because there's many things that I don't like. Trust me, including services and products that we have here, but I think I need to step away from the me and put myself in the guest's shoes. What do the guests want? And that's how we develop the experiences. What is the feedback that we're receiving? That's how we create and evolve. We do an event every spring and fall, and we've only been able to get to the success that we have because of the feedback that we get. So when we're talking about creating an experience for the guests, it's not just what Tony thinks we should do, is the input of the team, putting ourselves in the guest's shoes, and also taking in the feedback that we receive to make it better or remove what hasn't worked based on the feedback.
I love that. How do you approach seasonal menu design? I feel like for a lot of the therapists and the spa owners that I've talked to, it's a very creative process, but it also can kind of get left on the cutting room floor where there's a ton of other stuff going on. So do you have any advice in terms of how to up-level that and create something that really feels special with seasonal design?
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that because being the facility that we are, the spa that we are, so large and so busy, it can easily get lost in everything else that we do. The only way we were able to fix that is by planning. We honestly have our menu, especially seasonal menus, 6 to 8 months in advance. So as I'm sitting here talking to you now, we're already thinking of January, February, March of next year. Because if we don't do it now, if we leave it for like, let's say an August special and we say, well, we can do it in June, late June, July, because we have some, no, we don't have time. Time doesn't almost exist. So we ran into that issue as well. We're not immune to it, just like everybody else. So if anybody wants to have that success when it comes to seasonal services, is to plan ahead. I mentioned the 2 events that we have. We were planning those events 2-3 months out, trying to still figure out the dates. And we said, no, our guests want to know now. So now we decided every first Friday of November is going to be the fall event. Done, period. So now we don't have to wait. When is it going to happen? When do we need to order products? When do we need to have the menu for that event? X, Y, and Z, right?
Just drew a line in the sand.
Every first Friday of November is the event. And now we can tell every guest, well, are you guys having it in the fall? Yes, the first Friday. Done. And we're about to do the same thing for the spring, for the first time next spring.
So can you give me a sneak peek of what the seasonal fall menu looks like?
Yes, so talking about the guest feedback is very important. Our autumn harvest body treatment is one that we brought in, I'm gonna say about 3 years ago, and it had such a hit that it's becoming a yearly fall service, but it's a body treatment using a sugar scrub. And it basically gives you the smells and the feelings and the sense of walking into your house when your mom is baking fresh cinnamon rolls or nutmeg, you know, all those like fall scents, you know, tea. So it has a very fall-like home feel to it, and it just melts you away, really. You get wrapped with the sugar scrub and all the lotions that come with it, and you just sit there and just absorb it all in, both with your smells, and your skin is obviously getting nurtured with the hydration piece of the scrub and the removal of your dead skin with the sugar scrub. So you walk out of there feeling smooth, fresh, and relaxed. And now you just basically had a meal without actually having that dessert.
I would hate to go into that on an empty
It's
stomach.
a horrible service. It is horrible, yes. I highly recommend it, but it's torture.
So there, it sounds like the focus is on the sense of smell. How important is multisensory when you're approaching services?
Oh, very important. I mean, from the moment you walk into the spa, you feel, I'm in a spa. It smells like it, it feels like it. So having those multisensory options, it's what brings you into the place. It's like being a child, right? And you put on sunscreen, what do you think about? Think about those pool days or when you used to go to the beach, right? We try to do the same thing here. When hopefully you take those products back with you, whether you live here in Orlando or in Florida, or maybe you don't live here at all, you say, oh, I remember this. I remember how this felt, right? And you take that back with you, and hopefully you'll remember that for years to come until you come back again. It's very important.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about other ways that you set the expectation with the guest. You mentioned that you walk in and it feels like a spa. The expectation and the perception that you have of something influences your experience of it. And so what are some other ways that you tee up that expectation, that perception?
You can have the same massage anywhere else, right? But like I mentioned earlier, it's what comes after it. It's what comes with the delivery and the service. Because at the end of the day, a massage is a massage. And you can get a wonderful, relaxing massage at one of the walk-in day spas. But what we do here, including all the scents, all the smells, the sounds, the customer service behind it, making you feel relaxed the moment you walk in, all that together is what provides the overall experience. We're not just here for a business of a massage or a facial, we're here for a business of an experience. We just make you feel like you don't want to leave.
How involved are you with the marketing team on staff? Are they real stakeholders in trying to expose the services to the guests before they even get to the property? What does the whole experience with touch points upstream of the guest's arrival look like?
I'm very involved, probably more than they want me to be. But I think it's important because if we want the message to be deliver the way that we want it to, I need to be involved. I need to be able to have a say in what information goes out there. I don't know if you know about my social media.
I've seen your
My
LinkedIn.
Instagram, no, my Instagram is actually Spa Daddy. Yeah. So I keep them very separate. Yeah, it came out as a joke, and I ended up. They're like, it's like the Spa Dad. You have to go to Tony for permission for everything, right? So. Yeah, they're like, yeah, you're like a spa daddy, whatever. And they're like, wouldn't it be funny if you had like an Instagram, whatever? And this happened in a meeting with a business partner. So that's how serious the meeting was. And so as they were talking, they joked about having spa daddy. I was like, let me see if it's available. So I looked up, I'm like, I'm going to create this, right? And so I did, and we finished the meeting. They're going around the room. They're like, anything else for the group? I said, no, all I have is that I created Spa Daddy. And they're like, what? No way. And so that has now become, quote unquote, my brand. I'm in the process of trademarking it too. Yeah, so that's why Spa Daddy has gotten a lot of recognition in the spa wellness world, to the point we were having this conversation during dinner that some people have actually forgotten my real name, because now they're just like, hey, Spa Daddy's here, what's going on? And it's funny because Joanna, I call her my brand manager, and she's my PR manager as well, as a joke, right? But people want to see more of you. And I'm like, but I don't want to be in front of the camera, like I was saying earlier. So if you look at my Instagram, there's a little bit of me now more than before. Before it was just like a picture of this, video of that. Now I'm starting to get more into it. But the feedback that I've been getting has been a lot of like, I love your message, or I love the positivity, or I love that you're doing this, talking about taking care of yourself. If you look at it, a lot of it is just my wellness journey. And so it's been great to see that a few people have been influenced by it. I don't call myself an influencer, and I hate that term, just so you know. And the team jokes are like, you're officially an influencer. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not even close to it, and I don't want to be. But if I can influence someone in a positive way, then I guess I can be. But
I think we're influenced.
I try to do that. What I put out there is how I live my life. So you're not seeing two different people. So you'll see that's Spa Daddy is my alter ego.
I love that.
Yeah.
I've seen bits and pieces on LinkedIn, and I was curious.
Yeah. No, that's my real thing. Yeah, that's my real thing, yes. So we partner with Live Love Spa, if you're familiar with them. And it's actually the meeting that I was having with them. They're the ones that helped create it. So now we joke, like we celebrate the anniversary of it. And
Lisa Michaels.
Lisa, yeah.
Yeah, she was a Universal alum back in the day.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, she's been around for a while. So
she's awesome.
She's amazing. Yeah, amazing.
What are you most excited about? Are there services or trends that you see on the horizon that are really intriguing you and exciting you that you can speak to?
Yeah, we're actually can't speak too much of it. Number one, just because I don't know a lot of it, but we're working with Marriott to do a pilot. We're one of the pilot properties to do a wellness recovery room, basically, and this is where we would have all of the touchless technology. So focusing more on the innovative and continuous wellness lifestyle than just having a massage or a facial that can be just for that moment, right? Obviously, massages and facials is also a wellness lifestyle, but then there's more to wellness than just that, right? And so this is the recovery piece, the maintenance of your body, and we're talking about all the biohacking, right? That's a very cool technical name, but it's just how do you reset your body on a daily basis to produce or create longevity for your health. So it's going more from just pampering myself to now I'm looking for a lifestyle and to live my life to the fullest in a healthier way, right? Longevity is a big thing. So anything that is in that realm, that is what gets me kind of excited. We're actually going to be doing a wellness retreat in August.
Really?
And in one of our conversations, we're partnering with Fountain Life is a company that you're familiar with. So they're going to be coming. They're here in Orlando in Lake Nona. And so they're going to be one of our speakers, right? Because again, wellness is not just about a spa, massage, facial anymore. Wellness is a lifestyle, right? And so that's what excites me. How can we extend our lifespan from 60, 70, 80? And maybe we don't expand the years, but the health behind it.
Yes.
Right? Because we may not be able to live to 100 anymore, right? But can we at least live to 85 and be
love
healthy
life at
and
80?
Love life at 80 and still be able to do so many things, great quality of life, and not be where you have to live with support. And obviously, everybody's bodies are different, and some are just they're gonna go through that process no matter what you made and what built you. But if we can do something to enhance it, and, elongate that process, then great. Yeah.
It's such an exciting time to be in wellness.
The wellness industry is taking off, and it's about time. I've always said we've all felt that in the spa industry. We've always been like an amenity, and yeah, you're a part of our resort, but you're the spa. No, now we're a driving force.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
so
we're
you're kind of
definitely
quarterbacking that within the brand.
Yeah, correct.
That's cool.
Now we have guests choosing to stay here because of our building, right? Because of what we offer, because of the services. Whereas before it's like, I'll stay at the Ritz-Carlton. Oh, you guys have a spa, great. Now it's no, I'm coming to the Ritz-Carlton because you have a spa. So it's like roles are reversed. So we have a seat at the table in a way, instead of just like me sitting at the kids' table maybe, right? So it's a little different. And obviously it's expected to be what are they saying, like a 3 trillion something gajillion industry coming up. It's definitely making some waves. So it's a good time to be innovative, because otherwise you'll be left behind also.
Yeah, you guys are really at the forefront of pushing what technology can mean in a spa.
Definitely thinking outside the box is important. And for our events, anything that we do, again, trying to be different. And I think that's what's given us some of the recognition that has come our way, is because of that. Obviously, the iSpa Award was an innovation award, right? Because of an event that we put out for our guests. It's an event. So what is so innovative about it is just the way that we do it and what we're doing that is different, right? So there's many ways to be innovative, whether it's technology or just the way that we're presenting or reinventing the old, right? Just doing it with a twist. Yeah.
I think last big question is, if you mentioned 2 things earlier. You mentioned personalization and the wow moments as being pillars of your philosophy and experience. Are there any others that you would add to those 2?
Yeah, I think we go back to ownership. Ownership is a big part of what we do, and we try to own every guest personalization of their experience, right? Told the team countless times, if something goes wrong during the guest experience, because we're not perfect, things happen. It's how we recover from that. And it's very easy to take things personal, especially when we take so much ownership and say, we didn't do that. It was the guest who did it. Listen, at the end of the day, whether it's 1%, half of 1%, our fault, we take ownership, right? So take ownership in both the good and the bad. And so, for me, again, I have the honor of being the face of the spa, and I get the accolades and celebrate. But guess what? I also own the not so pretty side of the business that sometimes comes with it, right? So be there for the good, be there for the bad, whatever that is. And so the guest experience, you're gonna be there for the good and provide that wow, that excellence. But also when things do happen, own that and try to bring back that wow.
Do you have any advice on an independent esthetician or massage therapist can deal with it and own it in a way that allows them to recover? Because inevitably, something's going to go wrong. People are going to be upset. The service is going to go not the way you expected. How would you advise them to deal with that?
It goes back to our Ritz-Carlton philosophy of empowerment, right? I've had therapists tell me, listen, I just had this guest. It did not work out. Sometimes the personalities just don't gel, right? Mm-hmm. They just don't work well together. And not that the therapist is a bad therapist. It's just, again, it's a personal choice. It doesn't work. And they just say, you know what? I gave them the service, but I don't want you to charge me, right? Mm-hmm. Because they felt that the guest was walking out of their treatment room not 100% satisfied, right? So teaching our massage therapists, our sessions, or just a team as a whole to have that empowerment is the important. We can go back to the dollar number, but it's not about the dollar number. Sometimes it's just as simple as saying, you know what, I understand we didn't live up to your expectations. Allow me to see what else I can do for you. Sometimes maybe we have the same therapist say, you just finished with me, but let me see if there's another opening. Maybe you can try somebody else, right? And just owning it. Right? You don't have to ask me for those permissions. You want to take care of the guests, you do whatever you need to do to take care of the guests.
Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you. Again, I feel like just like drinking from a fire hose of knowledge like right now.
Thanks. Thank you. I don't feel that way personally, but I'm glad if I can share something, I'll share it.